placed unruly status. I've heard that story before.
Well, hey, Jack. I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting on this July the 8th, 2019. If everyone would stand, we'll have a session. Father in heaven, once again, we approach your mighty throne of grace to praise you and thank you. We thank you, Lord, for your love, your grace, and your mercy. We thank you for our community and the people that live here, and we ask, Lord, that you watch over them, watch over this meeting, give us a peaceful meeting, and we ask, Lord, that the decisions we make here today will benefit the people of our community. And we ask that you watch over our veterans who are in harm's way today, in war zones and so on. These things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Okay. Alderman Summers.
Here.
Alderman Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jernigan.
Here.
Mayor Graham.
Here.
Alderman Bankson. Alderman Sanders.
Here.
Okay, the minutes of June 10th and June the 17th meetings, 2019, need to be approved. If you want to look over them, you can. If you have already, I'll need a motion and a second to vote to approve these minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve both meeting minutes for June 10 and June 13.
Motion?
I'll say it.
Second from Bob. Okay, everyone in favor of approving these minutes, do so by saying aye. The minutes have been approved. Report of board members' review of financial documents. I have reviewed several documents. Has anybody else? Visitors, I see we have several visitors. If you want to address the board, you may do so.
We need to have our
Public meeting.
yeah.
Oh, the hearing,
The second
the hearing. Oh, that's right.
We need to have that first. And we can still have a meeting. Just
Yeah.
look at the-
Yeah, it's, okay, this time we are having we have to allow so much time for a hearing. If anybody has anything to say about, the budget amendment that we're gonna be voting on today, will be the second reading on our budget amendment and also our new budget for this coming year, so we are, at this point in time, having a hearing. And we'll continue on with the meeting. If any of the visitors here, anybody wish to address the board? If you would stand and identify yourself.
Betty Starks, I live at 107 Palmer Corner Court. We've got a dead end, one of the widest dead end streets in Surgoinsville. We have a 2-hour parking sign up there. I'd like to try to get this resolved between us and the neighbors. Because if we can get that one car moved, I'm pretty sure he would quit trying to, I guess, rule the neighborhood. I live right across the street from the man. I don't block his driveway. His patrons does mine, but we don't say nothing.
Okay, so I'm not understanding who's.
George,
George
the-
Rogers Street, up there, where George Rogers lives.
So, in other words, his customers you're talking about.
block her driveway. There's times that they're longer there than 2 hours at a time. I've got kids that live away from here, and when they come in, I have nowhere to park. I'm in the middle of on the right, as you pull in on the left-hand side, middle house. I've got the shortest driveway. I have nowhere else to park up on the road when I've got my kids in. When I've got visitors coming in from out of state. We've got a 2-hour parking sign up there. We would like to try to get it resolved within the neighborhood.
Well, it don't matter how, what's the time limit, whatever, nobody should block your driveway.
Well, they do, but we don't complain about it. We've not said nothing to them about it. I don't care if they're going to get their haircuts. That's their privilege. You know, that's his business. You know, we don't do nothing to them. I know our neighbors don't either. They've got a Honda sitting there. I had a Ford truck. I've got an Equinox sitting up there, and then my son's got his car there. That's in front of her house. My neighbor's car is on down below where the mailboxes are, where she can get in. There's still another car that can park right there where the mail lady can still get in. We don't block his driveway. The Equinox the Honda don't block his driveway. I
Okay,
understand
you're
he's
talking
91
about-
years old.
You're talking about George's driveway?
Yes, I understand he's 91 years old, and I know it's hard to back in.
Okay, George he cuts hair, he works in there, and I'm sure he don't know who's parking where, I don't think. I mean,
Oh, yes he does.
So does he tell them where to
They
park?
don't have to park in his driveway. They don't park in his driveway 3/4 of the time. They park on the side of the road. You wanna say something?
Well, no, I mean, what we're trying to say is a lot of times there's no vehicles at all in his driveway. And then when they pull up, they stop, you know, about 3 or 4 feet from our driveway, well, we can't back out. And then walk up to his house, you know.
And there'll be nobody in his driveway.
It's
Nobody
not the point-
whatsoever.
It's not the point that, you know, I don't mind them parking on the road, I mean, I don't
I don't
mind that at
care.
all. Just as long as they pull down far enough, or we can get out of my driveway, cause I've walked over there 2 or 3 times and asked them to pull up so I could get out of my driveway so I wouldn't hit a vehicle.
And as far as we've been there almost 30 years,
Yeah.
almost 30 years, and that's where we park at. We bought that house because we had kids. I've got grandkids now that stay up there.
Well, let me ask something, have you ever called and complained that your driveway's blocked and have you ever done that?
He walks over and talks to
I
me.
walk over and ask them just to please move their vehicle so I can get out, you know.
I don't know how this all got started, but I know it was aimed at my neighbor and us, because we're the only ones that actually park on our side of the driveway, of our houses. And I know it was aimed at us, and we know who said it, who done it, but we don't care. What we're trying to get done is, we live on one of the widest dead-end streets. We've had an 18-wheeler, an Astro van, and another vehicle sitting there, and the 18-wheeler come through with no problem. That's the widest dead-end street on this area. We bought the house because we have kids. They get out there and they play. That's fine. Now, a long time ago, when George had his little grandson driving that little Mercedes-Benz, we had a little uproar. and we went and talked to him about it, and we settled it. As long as he wouldn't come in there flying like a bat out of HELL, I didn't care if he come up there. But when my kids are out in that yard, out in that road playing, and he pulls that end of that road right there, and he's flying, and he can't stop and hit one of my kids, what's gonna happen?
Okay, so there's another problem then. It's
No,
somebody's
he's
speeding.
open up, he's,
That's been years.
that's been 20-something years ago. But what we're getting at right now is y'all put a 2-hour parking sign up there at the end of the road where we live at. But actually, there was 2 on there, wasn't there, James?
Yeah.
And I got yelled at for the sign coming down. I was told to put it back up, was it not? And I got kinda hateful with you, because I ain't able
We did.
to get out there
Back to it.
and put it up. I went and asked him to put it up.
Okay,
So we put the
okay.
sign back up, what, next day y'all kinda took it down and moved it down to, moved one of the signs down to the end of the road. Okay. You got a preacher's house here, on the right-hand side as you pull in. You got George's house, and you got Doyle Weinberger's house. You pull in, you got Mr. Manis's house here, you've got my house there, and you've got Cindy Williams and John Williams' house right there, on the left-hand side. Cindy and I have kids and grandkids. I have a lot of people that come over and visit. Should they have to sit there and park 2 hours and then go move their vehicle a little bit so they don't get a ticket? Is that fair to us? When we've been there longer than George had been there, when he put his business back up here?
Okay, I'm not, okay, it's,
What's
what's the 2-hour
aggravating me?
parking then got to do with George? I mean, what are we?
He's the one that started this. We had one wreck up there, was it not right, George? One wreck, and that was Brittany's mom. That was my future daughter-in-law's mom, about backed out of the car, out of my driveway, and hit a car that was parked directly in front of my driveway. I walked across the street, I told the guy, he didn't come right out and look to see what damage was done to his car. An hour and a half later, he walked outside and looked.
Okay, so,
What we're trying to say
Well-
is why should we have a 2.5-hour time limit on the widest dead-end street in this town? When we can try to resolve it and get this Honda that's my next door neighbors pulled down a little bit or pulled up a little bit, so nobody's blocking their driveway. He does haircuts on what? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Or is it Thursday, Friday? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And that's the only time they park up there. We're up there all the time, parking on the road.
okay, so, we're, the residents up there, the 2.5-hour limit, parking, whatever, is a problem for you all or the people
For
that's
us.
getting haircuts? What are
For
we?
us, because I have a car right now sitting up there, got 2 of them sitting on the road.
That's where we.
That's where we've got to park. My driveway is not big enough to hold 6 cars. Then that's what's in my house right now, is 6 cars. So where am I supposed to park my other cars?
Well, I don't know, I mean, that's not,
That's my point.
Right.
We've been up there for almost 30 years parking in that one spot. And then all of a sudden, this last, 2-3 weeks, all this has come down to, well, we've got to park 2.5 hours up there before we get our cars towed.
I've go up there a lot of times at 7 o'clock, get a haircut, and I've seen 5 and 6 cars parked on
On my side of the road?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you got Cindy's
Yeah,
house
well,
there and you
well,
got my house there.
How can, question I've got, how can we say, y'all can park on the side of the road, but nobody else can?
We're not saying they can't park there.
Oh, I'm talking about over the town.
We live on the widest dead-end street on Surgoinsville.
That's beside the point. I'm
No,
saying,
that's
how
not,
can-
that
how
is the
can- how can we
point.
let-
That we were told, we've been through this before up there with this parking on the road.
I'm asking you now, it's a wide road down your Stewart Landing. Now, how can we let
I
you
don't
park?
live in Stewart.
Man, let me talk one time. How can we let you park here, say it's all right for you to park on the side of the road, but go down your Stewart Landing right there and take it up?
Well, why are y'all writing a ticket on it? Stewart Lane's bigger than our road is.
Well,
But they don't live on a dead-end road either.
I don't know what a dead end road's got to do with it.
We do.
okay.
It don't have a thing to do with parking on the side of the road.
That's why we bought our house, because it was on a dead-end road. There wasn't a lot of traffic. I don't mind him having his business up there, I really don't. But what gets us is why are we getting in trouble for parking on the side of the road, a 2-hour limit, when we've done it for the whole time we've been here and bought the house.
Okay, what are you talking about you're getting in trouble? Have you got tickets or something?
James was gonna come up there the other day if the sign didn't get put back up, did you not? And told me he was gonna have my vehicles pulled off. Well, the sign was laying right there in my yard, or my,
Okay, then my
Thing is-
understanding that you took a sign down.
I didn't take the sign down.
Okay.
I don't know who took the sign down.
Okay.
It was just next to my thing. I don't know, have no idea. I was not up when the sign come down.
Okay.
I was in bed. So I don't know who took it down. James told me it was one of my kids. I don't know, I didn't see him. I can't say he did and I can't say he didn't. If I'd seen him, I guarantee you I'd chew his hind end and probably whooped him for it. And he's almost 30 years old. But what I'm saying is we've been here 30 years, almost 30 years, be 30 years, well, it's been 30 years in May. We parked there the whole time, never had a problem until we had a wreck up there. One wreck out of 30 years. Wrecks happen every day.
Well, okay, the reason the signs were put up there, obviously, there was a problem. And we had to solve the problem, and that was solving the problem. We can't, now wait a minute. There's probably people in that neighborhood that may just have one or two vehicles, but the town can't provide somebody a place because they have 6 vehicles to park their vehicles.
Okay, what if I have company come in that stays for a week? They supposed to park, move
There's
the
a-
cars?
There's a limit there on parking that's up there, so, but you know what, I think if you had company come in, and you told James, said, well, they're gonna be parked here for a little while, and probably be a little bit longer, I think they'd probably understand, I mean, it's not, the sign was put up there for a reason, and so I don't know, but as far as having that many vehicles, I don't know, the town can't provide you somewhere to park, and it's a wide road, it is.
I'm not asking
The
the town
people,
to vote private.
the town did not build that wide road. The people that done that subdivision built the road.
Okay, but we still
The
live
Vince
on West
Street
Landing.
Landing built that wide road, so the width of the road don't matter about anything, nothing. We have ordinances and we have to enforce them, that's just the way it is. I don't know, I wish there's some way to help, I mean, I do, I don't.
So we're supposed to,
Okay, so in your yard or whatever, you don't have any room for.
I can't park in my yard. I've got a wire line
Just-
going in
just
there.
calm down, look, let nobody get mad.
Really, I can't park in my yard because I have the water line laying right there, okay? On the other side of my driveway, I have a gas line.
They're laying there, or they're in the ground?
They're underground. They take so much weight, what happens? They bust.
Well, like I said, the town can't provide somebody a parking place because you've got, what if you added 2 more cars? What if you added 2 more after that and you had 10?
Well, once my
What are
kids
we
move
gonna
out,
do?
I
Say,
will have the
okay,
2 cars there.
Well, okay, it don't matter how many cars, whatever, we just can't provide a place for you to park. As far as
Yes.
blocking the roads, we don't want nobody blocking the roads. I'm not aware, no one's ever called me and said, there's a vehicle here blocking this road.
Because we don't like to complain. We don't like to cause trouble. I don't like to bother James. I know he's busy. I get that. They're busy. I understand that. So every time I have somebody coming in saying, I gotta call him and let him know. Yeah, and that's not what I'm saying. What we're saying is, no.
In other words, you don't like the 2.5 hour.
No,
limit.
I don't think it's right. I really don't. Not after we've been there 30 years and we've done it for 30 years. And then all of a sudden, boom, bam, and nobody come and asked us about it. Nobody informed us there was even gonna be a meeting on this.
Well, I mean, I don't know, we would have done that, but
Oh, we know.
there's a reason for doing it. I mean, when we address a problem somewhere, you know, we don't need to go and invite the citizens here and say, well, we've got to put a speed limit sign up here. What do y'all think about it? We don't.
I could see it if it was a speed limit sign.
Well, I mean, that's the way it is with any ordinances, but I don't know how to help. I'd like to, but I don't know how to help. We can take a look at why this was done. I mean, we can discuss it. Next month, we'll have a workshop and we'll talk about it. That's all I can tell you. I mean, I can't say, you know, we're gonna change anything right now. I mean, like I said, we can talk about it, but that's just the way it is. I appreciate your comment. James, have you had anybody call and tell you, well, there's a car blocking a driveway here?
No, there's no issue. There's complaints on people parking all the time on the roadway.
He just parked. Okay. Well, you know, I go to George's, get her.
Yeah,
And of course, I've never parked on the street. I always
pulling the
room
driveway.
in the driveway, George's, me park, but
See, that's where I don't have a problem, you know, people parking there. But the only problem I have is when they do park, they don't park down far enough where I can get out of my driveway. I mean, there'll be plenty of room, you know, but they'll back all the way up, where when I back up, I'll either hit his car or have to just go, you know.
But you wanna park in the road when he's trying to run
But
a business out of his house.
But what I'm saying is, my vehicle parked in the road is nowhere blocking anybody's driveway.
okay.
We probably,
It's nowhere near a driveway where anybody can hit a vehicle.
we probably need to talk to George about this too.
Well, I don't, I mean,
I've asked
we can,
I've asked them a couple of times, you know, to please have them park in the driveway.
Yeah.
And there's no vehicles in their driveway, and they'll still park on the side of the road, blocking my road where I can't get out. And that's the only problem I have.
But where our cars are, they're not blocking nobody's driveway, they're not bothering nobody.
Okay.
That's the only problem I have.
Well, again, you know, we can discuss this, George, but you know, when the man's in there working, I
Oh,
don't think he knows that where people are parking.
No, he don't.
No, he don't, cause he don't come outside and look.
No, he don't know.
Well, I mean, he wouldn't have no reason to, I don't think, unless somebody calls him and says, George, your customer's out here.
Like I said, we
blocking
don't
the
wanna
driveway or
complain,
something.
and, you know, we don't wanna start nothing.
Right.
But, you know, I'm willing to try to work it out, and I know whose car that he's talking about, it's one of my neighbors. If we can pull it up, then George would be able to back in. I understand that he's 91, and he has a hard time seeing. I get that. God forbid, I hope I live that long and able to drive like that. But, you know, I can pull that Honda Passat up. I can even pull it in my driveway if Cindy would let me, in my backyard, if Cindy would let me, just to get it out away from George's driveway, so they can back in and out. And it's not his customers, the ones that's been complaining, it was George that complained. Because he couldn't back his car in, because he thought he might hit our neighbor's car that's parked in front of their house. It's not our cars blocking anybody's driveway, it's hers up a little, and is it not a little bit, or right in his right at it? You know, I talked to her the other day, she said she'd be more than, I can hook my truck up and pull it up. Cause Nick James come up here and jumped me about that sign. I told him, I said, all my truck needs is a freeze plug. I'm not able to climb under it, I've got a broke vertebrae in my back, I couldn't do it. So I had my brother-in-law come pull my truck to his house, fix my truck. I took my truck and put it on top of on the road up here to sell it, just to keep an argument down. I don't drive that much anyway. But we know what car it is, we can pull that car up, we have to. Just to, you know, to keep a conflict down in the neighborhood, but that 2-hour parking, I don't understand, I don't get it.
Okay, the car you're talking about, a Honda.
Is next door neighbors, and she told me that we could pull it up, or we could move it, I told her I'd pull it in my backyard. It didn't bother me none.
How long do they park?
It's been there how long, Les?
I don't know, it's,
Couple of years, 3 or 4 years?
So it's on the
It's on the road too.
And it's not been moved in 3
No.
years.
they can't be.
It can't be moved, motors won't in.
I think the motor's messed up in here.
I believe that's what she said.
Well, it don't need to be there.
No, it don't?
Well, he's trying to get it fixed.
Well, that ain't our problem.
Yeah.
Well,
Not ours either.
Well, it's not, but what I'm saying, it's that person's problem. It needs to be moved or towed. Right, Janet?
so you know who this Honda belongs to?
Yes, it's our neighbors. It's his daughters.
Okay, is there an issue with him moving it or something?
I don't know.
I told her I could pull it. I'll pull it to wherever she wants me to pull it. But then that's still gonna leave our cars on the road.
Okay, and then what if your neighbors have a fire and the fire department needs to get down that road in a hurry?
They can get down that road. They got the ambulance down there.
They still get down the road.
James, will you check about the Honda that's parked out there? See who's there, whatever, that's,
Ambulance come down there, what, a couple of weeks ago and picked me up.
I ain't gonna 536 short and side road, that one car.
There's not 6 cars parked on the side of the road at one time.
I'm getting a little nosy, Betty, but what, did you fall or something, break your vertebrae?
I was pulling weeds in my garden, and they're more like trees. If they root real bad, they'll come up as a big old tree. And I dug the roots up and I was on my knees and I bent down, and when I pulled, my back popped, and it took me an hour to crawl into the kitchen to get him.
Wow.
'Cause he works graveyard.
Yeah.
And it broke out ill too. She said my bones were real brittle, and they were gonna run some tests.
I hate that. Jerry Lindy, Dale broke 6 vertebrae. Anyway, that's why it's that.
Yeah, I was pulling weeds.
Okay, at our next workshop, we'll discuss this again, as right now.
But right now, there's just 2 of my cars parked on the road. Like I said, I've got my truck up on the road, on the highway trying to sell it. But it's my son's car, one's my son two's car, both his cars is up there.
Okay. All right, anybody else? Okay, we will continue on. I'll tell you what, let's go to reports. James, you got a report?
For the month of June, we had 197 complaints, 18 incidents, 3 traffic accidents, 9 offense reports, 62 citations, 2 arrests. We logged in 2,879 miles.
Eddie?
Your code enforcement activity report for this June of 2019, I had 9 animal complaints, 4 animal incidents, transported 1 dog, disposed of 4 dead animals, had 6 other code complaints and 4 other code incidents for the month of June. Our Public Works Maintenance Department report, we collected and disposed of 51.22 tons of garbage, residential garbage, 11.87 tons of commercial garbage, and as far as I know, this is the second time in history that the brush has exceeded the amount of garbage we picked up in 1 month. This seems to be multiplying. 56.73 tons of brush. We disposed of 4.97 tons of various materials in the dump trailer that we take out to city residences. Had a few repairs of our new skag, what we call the new skag mower. It's actually 5 or 6 years old, but we still call it new. $78.50 in roller bearings and the spring. Replaced the hydraulic hose and Mass Ferguson tractor, $51.24. And the oil cooler on the brush truck amounted to $482.71. Street signs, of course, we've already touched on that base, but we did install the 2-hour parking signs on Palmer Court as requested by the BMA. We built shelving at the shop, store sewer parts, and organize the inventory of sewer parts. Install a new hot water heater at the senior citizen's house. Got all the mowing, pretty much, we've done, I think, a pretty good job of keeping up within the right amount of rain we've had. Mowing up to date, so to speak, at our parks and so forth. Had 7 sewer calls that I noted. And again, the brush pickup was a very time consuming for us in the month of June.
I think Burgess, y'all were working on it, is it pretty much up, or?
Man, not pretty much. We've got 2 loads out there today, and there's probably 4 more.
That's a huge tree.
But we've got some people that's utilizing that wood for firewood. It's not,
Oh, okay.
most of it will not go to the landfill. It'll go to
Oh, good.
be used. There'll be some go to the landfill, but not all of it.
Be mostly brush over, mostly brush.
But yeah, it goes to anything big enough from the saw and split once. They sort of link that for firewood. So we'll try to accommodate that as well, again, to keep it out of the landfill.
That's nothing in your department, the park, the mowing and all was good, right? I don't like to have any loose grass laying on the park, but it was really nice.
Like I say, I think the guys have really tried to keep up with the mowing, keep ahead of it, and that has been a task with the amount of rain that we've had
I know it has.
in between showers, but I think they've done a pretty good job. Really good job. I talked to a representative from TDOT. We discussed at the last meeting or workshop about some possible funding for various projects, and found out that there's some special funding for projects through TDOT. But it is earmarked, so to speak, for metropolitan areas that consist of as few as 5,000 people and as many as 200,000. So obviously, the town of Surgoinsville does not meet that criteria because we are under 5,000 people. So we're out of luck on that funding. This lady has promised me that she would make some calls and ask some questions and get back to me on the possibility of anything else that we might be. And I forwarded the BMA's concerns that we had talked about for the last few months about the town of Surgoinsville sort of being looked over on some of the maintenance issues on our State Route 346 as well as 11W. And I knew no other way to put that to her but just what I told you. And she was going to look into that and get back to me, so I don't know where that'll go. We'll just have to sort of keep on top of it.
Okay.
I made a list of items that I think needs to be declared surplus and sold. And I forgot to put, if you want to pencil in at the bottom, 2 heavy-duty bucket teeth. That's what under my list. I just forgot to put them on there.
Okay.
We don't need them, I just forgot to put them on the list. This is some equipment that came along with, or we got shortly after, if you remember the Army truck that we had 10 or 12 years ago. It was never utilized for the town. We just had complicated problems with it, and we finally sold it. These attachments were either with that truck or came along with it when we obtained it. And we were, back then, we were hoping one of these days we would have a machine to attach these jackhammers and so forth to operate, and maybe some benefit, but that's, like I said, been 10 plus years ago, and we still, we've just been stored out there in the way, and we just need rid of them.
Okay. So, all these items you've listed plus, now what else?
2 heavy-duty bucket teeth. And they're just simply digging teeth that goes on backhoe attachment on a front bucket to loosen them.
Okay, so you'd like for these to be declared surplus so you could sell them or whatever?
That's my opinion. I just don't see. We've had them 10 plus years and we've not utilized them, so I don't think we're going to the next 10. I mean, I would hope to think at some point, but.
Okay.
I'll make that motion if we require this.
There you got a motion from Bob, second, please, roll call vote, Clan.
Alderman Sanders,
Yes.
Alderman Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jernigan, Alderman Bass,
Yes.
Alderman Summers,
Yes.
All right. We've had no old business. Back to unfinished business, we have an ordinance, 144, 2019, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2017-18 budget, second and final reading. Which this has passed once and we need a second. So we need a motion and a second to approve this ordinance amendment. You wanna look at it, feel free to. in your packet. One to just finish it. Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
There you go, motion from Matt,
I'll second.
second from John. Roll call vote again.
Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Alderman Bass, Alderman Summers,
Yes.
Alderman Sanders,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jernigan. Okay.
Okay, so our budget amendment is finished. We'll go now to ordinance 145, 2019, an ordinance adopting the annual budget tax rate for fiscal year 2019-20, and this will be the second and final reading on it, and that's for our new budget. And we had a meeting and discussed that, and I don't think any changes were made. So I need a motion and a second on this budget. You wanna look it over? You can.
Maybe, was we gonna raise your your court fine?
I think that's something we'll have to have a meeting on
Okay,
and go through that.
okay. Fines and forfeitures, what I was talking about. So we're gonna raise $18,000.
It was gonna be higher than it was last year.
That's what we changed, that's the,
Okay, have we got that pretty much settled, what it would be, James, or?
What's the number on that?
I didn't see it, I looked for it, but I didn't see it. You know what it is, Pam?
No, I'm not even aware what you all are talking about.
I read the police department estimate. Good court.
If we would have discussed this earlier, maybe I would have some numbers and figures, but I wasn't
We did at a workshop.
here at the workshop.
We were going through one.
Okay,
Okay.
we can do that, we can look over that, discuss it at a workshop and do it.
Well, you can't change it after you pass it, huh?
And you can change it any time you choose. Just, pass a budget amendment.
Okay.
Looks like on page 2 of 7, that's where your fines and forfeitures are. 2017 was $12,000. FY 2018 is proposed was 36,700, and the final for 2018 was 35,700. So
Okay.
you're 35 and some thousand.
All right, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Okay, whenever you're ready, I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
A motion from Bob.
I'll second.
Second from John. Roll call, Pam.
Alderman Bass,
Yes.
Alderman Summers,
Yes.
Alderman Sanders,
Yes.
Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jernigan. Okay.
Okay, so our budget is done for the coming year. We'll move on to new business. Of course, we've already voted on the surplus items, and one other new business item. Of course, as you all know, Larry Dykes has retired from preparing our senior breakfast on Wednesday each week, and, so we have an opening now, and, we'll be taking applications if, anyone's interested in cooking the breakfast and, providing that for the seniors, on Wednesday morning, and anybody who would like to apply, we'll discuss the terms and so on of what they'll be paid, so. And if you know of anybody, tell them we have a vacancy and they might be interested in doing that, so. Alright, we'll move from that to community interest. I would like to say that we had, our Dr. Lyons Festival Saturday before last, and it was a huge success. There was a huge crowd, and we had curtailed the hours from back to 5 to 10, and I think that helped us a lot. But anyway, there was a huge crowd, and we did good at our booths. We took in almost as much money as we do at the Riverfront Festival, and so I was very, very happy about the Dr. Lyons Festival, and the Dr. Lyons Breakfast on that Saturday morning was also good, which was held at the Methodist Church, so that was a success too, and the church, they agreed to prepare it for us, and so that all worked out good, and we really appreciate the people at the Methodist Church for doing that for us. And it was very good, the food was very good, and if you weren't there, you missed the breakfast. So. And for future references, our next festival, the Riverfront Festival, will be Labor Day weekend on August 30th, 31st, in which we normally have it in September, but this year it's going to fall on August. So, you can be looking forward to that. I appreciate everybody coming out. If there's any other business,
You need to close the public hearing.
Do what?
You need to close the public hearing.
Yep, we need to close the public hearing, so we had no comments about any of it, so that's closed. And no other items to come up. Hear a motion, we will adjourn, and again, I appreciate everybody coming out, I appreciate y'all's comments, and we'll be looking in.
Make a motion. Do we need to make a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Usually you declare it closed, but apparently no one else appeared wishing to speak, so it's closed by itself.
Okay.
All right,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
all right, everybody in favor, stand up and we'll go home. I appreciate everybody.
Well said, Tom.